All right, I wanted to do a quick video on the Georgia Guidestones and the Great Culling, Agenda 21, population reduction, all those things. Now, if you watch my other videos on chemtrails, you hear me say things like, well, look up, there's Agenda 21 in progress, or the Great Culling, or Georgia Guidestones. Well, I've never done a video on the Georgia Guidestones. What are the Georgia Guidestones? Well, that's what we're gonna talk about. Georgia Guidestones are actual stones. You know how they always say, oh, it's written in stone, chiseled in stone, you know? Well, they are. They're huge stones that were erected in Georgia. It says one of the highest hilltops in Elbert County, Georgia, stands a huge granite monument engraved in 8 different languages on the 4 giant stones that support the common capstone are 10 guides or commandments. The monument is alternately referred to as the Georgia Guidestones. All right, so these Guidestones, who erected them? Is it the Illuminati? Is it the New World Order? Is it the deep state, the shadow government? Yes to all of that. That's who erected these. I'm sure it was directed by the deep state and the Illuminati, the New World Order, had these stones erected. Because if you want to know why, there is in the universe, there are rules. Now, believe it or not, God is real and God makes the rules. But there are entities out there. There's Satan, Lucifer. Now, you're going to have to put comments down there because I'm not exactly sure the difference between Lucifer and Satan. I know Lucifer was an angel. He was God's number 1 angel, and he rebelled. He wanted himself to be God. He wanted to be God, and he didn't want to follow God's rules, so he was cast from heaven. And then did he turn into Satan? Is that how it works? Or is Satan a completely different entity? Is Satan the converted Lucifer? I don't know. If you know exactly what that is, can you put it in the comments for me? Because I've read the New Testament and it talks about Satan. I don't remember the New Testament saying anything about Lucifer. Now, I think Lucifer obviously is in the Old Testament. So, I don't know. This video is not about Lucifer and Satan, but if you can put it, help me in the comments down there. Can you help me out? But here's the thing. Getting back to the Georgia Guidestones, God still runs everything, but there is free will, and his fallen angels and his not fallen angels have a guide on what they're supposed to do, but they have free will. People, humans, have free will. We can do what we want. Same thing as Lucifer and Satan. But there are guides. There are rules to the universe. And one of them is one of the rules that the dark entities, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call them, have to follow is they have to somehow let man know, humans know what they're going to do. Now, what does that mean? Well, what it means is they do bad things. Okay, they do a lot of bad things. They do a lot of sinning. It's just like possession. If you follow Malachi Martin, Father Malachi Martin, if you've read his books or listened to his interviews with Art Bell, you'll understand that these dark entities have to follow rules, and they can't just possess you. He talks that he was one of the original priests that talked about possession and helped that movie, The Exorcist, with possession rule. he was a movie guide or whatever. He said, Father Malachi Martin, who is an expert, said, Satan or his demons can't just possess you. You have to invite them in somehow. What does that mean? Well, it means that you go against God or against Jesus, or you invite him into your life, or you use a Ouija board and try to get him to come into your life or whatever. If you invite him in, if you knock on that, if you open that door, they will come in and they could possess you. Well, that's part of what I'm trying to get at. The evil in the world that are ultimately controlled by Satan or Lucifer have to let you know what they're going to do. It's part of the God's universal guide or rule or code. And the Georgia Guidestones are just that. And the Bible, the New Testament, read Revelations. It's all in there. Read, the Old Testament's got a lot in there too. Bottom line is, these Georgia Guidestones, this video is about Georgia Guidestones. There's things written on those that are warning you on what's going to happen, because the evil have to let you know. They have to let you know. It's part of God's law. And what do these Georgia Guidestones say? Well, I'm going to read it here quick. But let's just read what this... there's an article here I want to read to you. On one of the highest hilltops in Elbert County, Georgia, stands a huge granite monument engraved in 8 different languages. On the 4 giant stones that support the common capstone are 10 guides or commandments. Monument is referred to as the Georgia Guidestones, or the American Stonehenge. Although relatively unknown to most people, it is an important link to the occult hierarchy that dominates the world in which we live. Now, don't let occult scare you. The word occult just means secret. That's it. Look it up. So the secret hierarchy. What is the secret hierarchy? Well, we've got the Illuminati. We've got the New World Order. We've got the deep state, the shadow government. All that is the hierarchy that boom, boom, boom goes up to the Rothschilds and goes right to Satan. Satan is at the top. Lucifer or Satan, I don't know. Again, comments. But the origin of the strange monument is shrouded in mystery because no one knows the true identity of the man or men who commissioned its construction. All that is known for certain is that in 1979, a well-dressed, articulate stranger visited the office of the Elberton Granite Finishing Company and announced that he wanted to build an edifice to transmit a message to mankind. See, now there it is. A message. This is the guy that went in there, which Illuminati guy or whatever. A message to mankind. Again, they have to tell you. They have to tell you. So it's in the Bible. He who has eyes to see and ears to hear will understand. So I'm trying to help you. Read these Georgia Guidestones, and hopefully you will have eyes to see and ears to hear the message that these are trying to tell you. He identified himself as R.C. Christian. Obviously, it's a fake name, but it soon became apparent that it was not his real name. He said that he represented a group of men who wanted to offer direction to humanity. But to date, almost 2 decades later, no one knows who R.C. Christian really was or the name of those he represented. He represented. Several things are apparent. The messages engraved on the Georgia Guidestones deal with 4 major fields: governance and establishment of a world government. Bing, New World Order. Number 2, population and reproduction control. Number 3, the environment and man's relationship to nature. Number 4, spirituality. Okay, all these things are classic God versus Satan things. Every single one. Satan wants to win. Satan Lucifer, whatever, they want your soul. They want to own your soul. Man was created in the image of God. The angels were not. Keep that in mind. And the angels, the good angels don't mind. They don't care. They're cool. But the fallen ones care. They hate it. They hate that God gave man, humans, dominion over the angels. God said to the angels, you should serve, you will serve man. And the ones that fell, the ones that revolted, said, no, we're beings of light. We're immortal. We're not going to serve man. But God said, hey, that's the rules. So they're mad. Okay, getting back. In the public library in Elberton, and that's a county, I found a book written by the man who called himself R.C. Christian. Wow, I didn't know this. I discovered that the monument he commissioned had been erected in recognition of Thomas Paine and the occult, and again, secret, and the occult philosophy he espoused. Indeed, the Georgia Guidestones are used for occult ceremonies and mystic celebrations to this very day. Tragically, only one religious leader in the area had the courage to speak out against the American Stonehenge, and he has recently relocated his ministry. So they ran him out of town. They've got power. They've got Satan controls the world. Satan controls all the money. They can do pretty much what they want. Okay, the message of the Georgia Guidestones. Here it is. This is what's engraved on the stones, chiseled in forever. Number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Again, did you hear that? Maintain humanity under 500 million. What does that mean? Don't we have about 7 billion people on the planet? Think about that a minute. I'm going to move on. 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Oh boy, diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Wow. That's Babylon, okay? Babylon had one language. What did God do about that? God said no more one language. That's why we have a lot of languages. So they want to bring back Babylon. So there's another clue for you. Number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Number 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all, they say protect, but it doesn't mean that. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. That's something like the way the Romans did it. Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. Number 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. All right, when they say seeking harmony with the infinite, they are saying that their God, which is Satan, is the infinite. They worship Satan, Lucifer, also Moloch. I'm going to get off. I'll say the last one and then I'll talk a little bit about that. Number 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Now that's engraved twice. They're really trying to pound that home. Leave room for nature. Be not a cancer on the earth. So if you look at number 1 and number 10, they're pretty much the same. Number 1, reduce the population to 500 million. Number 10, leave room for nature. It's pretty much saying the same thing. So on that note, there's 7 billion people on the planet now. That's billion with a B people. To bring the population down to 500 million, it literally means you're going to kill a lot of people. I'm going to say that again. They want to kill a lot of people. A lot. Think about it. That's 6 billion, 500 million they want to kill. How are they going to do that? Well, I didn't want to get to this yet, but I'm going to get to it. How do you reduce the population quickly? What does everyone do? Everyone breathes air. Chemtrails, geoengineering, stratospheric aerosol injection. They can mix anything they want in those big tanker airplanes and spray it all over the world in seconds. And everybody breathes it. Everybody's got to breathe. Okay? I suggest you go get a really good gas mask and get it down to the lowest microns you can, because you have to filter out the smallest microns, or it will get through the filter. There's your tip for the day. And it goes with filtering water too. You've got to filter water somehow. So the best way to filter water that I know is reverse osmosis, and maybe even distillation. I don't know. You can research that. All right, let's get back to this Georgia Guidestones. Limiting the population of the Earth to 500 million will require the extermination of 9/10 of the world's people. The American Stonehenge's reference to establishing a world court foreshadows the current move to create an international criminal court and a world government. New World Order. Remember George Bush Sr.? 1,000 points of light. We're going to make a new world order, and we're going to do it. That's what, and he just passed away. So the Guidestones' emphasis on preserving nature anticipates the environmental movement of the 1990s, in reference to seeking harmony with the infinite reflects the current effort to replace Judeo-Christian beliefs with a new spirituality. Guess what? A new spirituality. What does the Bible say? 666, the beast, the Antichrist, okay? He is going to introduce the new spirituality. There's going to be a man that comes out of the West, and his number is 666. This man is going to solve a lot of problems, and he's going to bring world peace. And everybody, and he's going to expect and require, eventually he'll require that everyone worship him. That's what they mean by new spirituality. Worship this man who's going to be the son of Lucifer, or Satan himself. And this being is going to want everyone to worship him. He's going to be the new leader of the world. And soon as, he's going to require everyone to have the mark of the beast. Basically what that means is no man or woman will buy or sell without the mark of the beast in the forehead or on your arm, in your hand. What is that? It could be a chip. It could be an RFID chip. I don't know. It could be a barcode. It's real simple. I mean, all of our credit cards have RFID chips in them now. You take the chip, you put it in that slot, it reads the chip. If you don't know what an RFID chip is, it's an electronic chip with all your information on it. And you put it next to a power source, which beams into it with radio waves. This power source turns it on, so it beams back your information, and it reads it. So you got to be careful with your credit cards now. You should have them in something metal. You should have a metal slot or some kind of metal box or wallet to put them in, because anyone can, with a RFID chip reader, can just walk by you, stand behind you. If you have your wallet behind you, or you're in your purse, put this reader next to it, and it will get all your information, your credit card number, anything you have. Plus now the new licenses have RFID chips in them, driver's licenses. So you also need to protect that. So I suggest everyone get a RFID wallet, shielded wallet of some kind, so nobody can just grab your information. You need to shield it. What is that? Well, it's you can check it. They sell them. It's just a metal, basically a metal box. So I'm getting off the subject here, although it all relates. All right, new spirituality. Okay, the message of the American Stonehenge also foreshadowed the current drive for sustainable development. Anytime you hear the phrase sustainable development used, you should substitute the term socialism to be able to understand what is intended. Later in this syllabus, you will read the full text of the Earth Charter. All right, there's a lot of stuff here I'm not going to read, but let's see. Certainly, the group that commissioned the Georgia Guidestones is one of the many similar groups working together towards a new world order, a new world economic system, and a new world spirituality. Behind these groups, however, are dark spiritual forces. Just like I said, without understanding the nature of those dark forces, it is impossible to understand the unfolding of world events. The fact that most Americans have never heard of the Georgia Guidestones or their message to humanity reflects the degree of control that exists today over what the American people think. We ignore that message at our peril. That's why I'm doing this video. I want to get out. I want you to know what the Georgia Guidestones are and what their meaning is. And some of you have heard of it. A lot of my subscribers already know what the Georgia Guidestones are, but in this video I'm telling you my thoughts about it and my feelings, and I'm sure it's something you haven't heard before. Maybe you have. Alright, so back to this. Okay, there's a hole in there. It says the hole that you see in the stone was drilled in the center stone so that the North Star could be visualized through it at any moment. This was one of the several requirements stipulated by R.C. Christian for the development of the American Stonehenge and reflects his obsession with the alignment of the stars, the sun, and the moon. Occultists often worship the alignment and movement of heavenly bodies as part of their religious ceremonies. So he's got a hole that you look through, you can see the North Star. This is very common in all the occults. And that's the end of this article. And one thing I wanted to get back to. Okay, the Georgia Guidestones maintain humanity under 500 million. And the Great Culling. Agenda 21, population reduction, chemtrails. I want everyone to hear that. Chemtrails, what are they? Aluminum, barium, and strontium are sprayed into the atmosphere by airplanes. You can just look up once in a while and you'll see it, to block the sunlight back out to cool the earth. That's what they're going to tell you. Now, I just did a video on Harvard Geoengineering. You can go yourself, Google Harvard Geoengineering, and you'll see Harvard website that tells you about geoengineering and what they're doing. Now, they're telling you that all that is to block the sunlight. I'm telling you that it's part of this Great Culling, Agenda 21, population reduction. That's what the chemtrails are for. That's what I believe. And right now, what they're spraying is just a slow kill. All that stuff wafts down, gets in your lungs, gets into your water and your food in the soil. Is it going to kill you quickly? No, it's slow. It gets into your system. It accumulates into your brain. This aluminum will accumulate in your brain. Strontium and barium can cause cancer, which we all know what that is. But the aluminum gets into your brain and it accumulates and causes Alzheimer's and dementia, which is inching their way up to the #1 cause of death in the whole world. Look up London, England. I just did a video on that. You can check that out. So, what else do we know about the chemtrails and the Great Culling? Okay, Jesse Ventura did a whole video on called The Great Culling. And he interviewed a woman, okay? This woman was a medical doctor, MD, who left. She was scared for her life. She left the country, left the United States, moved somewhere else because she's afraid of her life. But he interviewed her, and I've seen this. It's out there. And this is what she said. Now, this is a medical doctor, MD woman, very intelligent. She's not going to make this up, okay? There'd be no reason for her to do this. She didn't make a nickel on this. Now I want you to listen. In 2003, this is the MD doctor. In 2003, I had a patient who was a patient in my drug-free medical practice, who was a head of state, okay? One day she said, it's almost time for the great culling to begin. The great culling, when you thin the herd, it's almost time for the useless eaters to be culled. Those are the people who are consuming our unrenewable natural resources. I said, who's behind that? She said, we, the aristocrats. And this is the woman, her name is Dr. Rima Libo, MD, wife of General Albert Stubblebine, commander of men who kill goats in CIA's Project Stargate. And this was Bilderberg conspiracy theory with Governor Jesse Ventura. All right, so she's saying that this great culling is on the way. I think it did start. I think it's the chemtrails, and that's very slowly being implemented. And let's see, what else does it have to say here? Quotes, a total population of 250 to 300 million people, a 95% decline from present levels would be ideal. Ted Turner, who said that? Ted Turner, founder of CNN. We all know who Ted Turner is, and he's in the Bilderberg Secret Society. Here is another quote. In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus in order to contribute something to solve overpopulation. Who said that? Prince Philip, King of the British Empire in charge of bioweapons labs. So he is, I don't think he's king. Prince. Prince. He's Prince Philip. He's not really the king. He's just married to the queen, but he's pretty powerful guy. But he says he wants to come back to life as a virus to kill off the people. Let's see if there's anything else here quick. All right, let's see. It says 60 million U.S. citizens have been genocided since 1973, when the U.S. Supreme Court legalized genocide in Roe versus Wade. So they're talking about abortions. It says with an additional 1 million U.S. citizens per year by routine medical malpractice and normal use of meds. Let's see. Can't do the great culling of 6.5 billion sheeple without kidnapping by police, state death squads. Well, they're not looking at chemtrails, whoever wrote this. They're not going to do it that way. People, they are not. Listen, there's a lot of videos out there that talk about, camps and rounding people up and putting them. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to get you with the chemtrails. They're going to poison your water, your what you eat, what you drink, and what you breathe. That's how they're going to get you. And there's some more things here, but that's really all I wanted to do. So let's see. There's a few things here, but I'm not going to read it. That's the gist of it, okay? I just wanted to do the videos about the Georgia Guidestones, what I feel about those, and how they relate to chemtrails, okay? That's what the video is about. Again, please share this video out there. We have to get the word out. Also, please subscribe if you have not. Like this video, or if you don't like it, go ahead and don't like it. But leave me a comment. Please leave comments on what you think. What do you think about this? What do you think about the Georgia Guidestones? What do you think about chemtrails? I want comments, okay? And may God, the real God, bless each and every one of you, and resist evil, resist Satan, resist Lucifer, resist all the bad and evil. Stop looking at your phone. Talk to people. Turn off your phone. Put it in your pocket. Look into someone's eyes and talk to them. especially your wife and your children, okay? Or your husband and your children, or your sister or your brother, or your neighbor. Talk to them. Look them in the eyes. All right, this is Chemtrails, MN, and we are signing off. Take care.